They bought it with the ice maker doesn't work. Wendy, just know there may be a distance issue if it's not working. No problem.
I just assumed that, yeah. Yep, no problem. You're welcome. you remember?
Ready?
Where'd he go?
Ooh, he's somewhere. If he's not here, don't worry. Lowell School Committee meeting, February 4th, 2026, come to order. Salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. McFadden?
Here.
Here.
Mr. Lay?
Here.
Ms. Martin?
Here.
Five present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. 3 minutes. Motion to approve the special and the regular scheduled Lowell School Committee meeting minutes of January 21st, 2026, and January 28th, 2026, and place them on file by Member Bahu, seconded by Member Lay. Roll call.
Ms. McFadden?
Yes.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes.
Mr. Conway? Mr. Rossi? Mayor Getchia?
Yes.
Mr. Lay?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
5 yeas.
Thank you. 3.1, approval of the minutes of the special meeting. We just did that. Right, so we're on 4. 4, permission to enter. 4.1, permission to enter February 4th, 2026. Motion to approve the permission to enter by Mr. Bahu, seconded by Mr. Lay. Question, Mr. Bahu.
Sure. Some transportation questions. I'm noticing, we'll just talk about the first page, because I think this should satisfy it. To provide D and W transportation services. To provide round-trip transportation for 2 homeless students, cost share, living in Lowell, Massachusetts, to northeast, or actually, that one is clear. I'll go to page 2. Okay, third line down, round-trip logistics. To amend existing contract to provide round-trip transportation for homeless students living in/out of district, transported to and from Lowell Public Schools, other cities and towns. So the first question becomes, does that mean that that student is coming to Lowell Public Schools?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Mr. Bahu. Ms. Legrand, do you have that information?
I don't have the specific students attached to this, but it could be that they are not attending Lowell Public Schools, that they could be living and being transported by us.
Okay.
If they're homeless, they could either be attending an outside district that we're responsible for, or in district, if the team determines that that's the most appropriate school for them to attend.
Okay. It brings me to the next question.
Yep.
The next question is essentially the next line down. To amend the existing contract to provide round-trip transportation for homeless students residing in Lowell, other cities and towns, and attending other Lowell towns and cities until the end of the school year. So one looks like they attend Lowell, and one looks like they don't attend Lowell. And I'm trying to get some clarification on this, because there's essentially 12 line items here.
If I may, Mr. Bahu, throughout the school year, we take in new students, and in some cases, they're new homeless students. And the homeless school, in one of the examples you raised before, the students apparently have been attending school in Waltham and are now housed in Lowell.
That one is clearly stated.
Right. That's the case in the others as well, but in the other ones that you're referring to, it's simply that the contract we have with the company that provides the transportation for various students, we've added sufficient number of students to the bus company's caseload that our budgeted amount will no longer cover unless we re-up the contract for a higher amount.
Sure, and I understand all of that. But I'm just trying to get some clarification if students are coming to the district or if they're going to another school.
Both. It's
And
both.
I understand both. So based on some of this wording, I did some math, which is what I do, and the ones that look like they attend Lowell Public Schools, and that's why I'm looking for more clarification, we're essentially, receiving $202,000. But when they're going to other public schools, based on the wording that I'm reading, it's costing us $422,000. So there's like a $220,000 difference. So I'm just, trying to figure out, so if we could maybe clarify these line items better so that we can begin to understand that, because I do know that we have the McKinney vendor that we need to honor. However, I would like to know if it's possible, if students are going to another district, that we can say, hey, would you like to come to Lowell? Would Lowell be an option for you? You live in Lowell, you've been in the neighborhood for a while, we have so much to offer, you wouldn't be on the bus for this period of time, and then begin to have a conversation. So busing is an extreme expense that we have. The busing contract that we have is somewhere around $15 million. And I see that there's a budget transfer just today for an extra $250,000, so we've already gone over. So this is, this is important that we get some clarification on it. We're, again, coming onto some hard times, and we need to really identify what these costs are. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bell. Can I say, please, that your inquiry is very sensible, is very reasonable. We will provide additional detail on these requests as much as we can in the future. But they are all of the cases are sort of bound by law, right? The McKinney-Vento law and what kids are required to do. I also, by the way, think it's really sensible for us to encourage people to come to Lowell Public Schools and to not transport them to cities and towns far away. We can do that to a great degree, but not to the degree that we might deny them their legal right to
We are
attend some
not going to deny them. I am
Thank you.
not looking to deny anyone. But when we're dealing with bus companies from Lynn and Attleboro and Fall River and Avon, it really means that we should be looking into things and
Agreed.
offering them. If they choose to keep going to Avon, Massachusetts to school, that is perfectly fine. But we can still have a conversation.
Agreed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bahu. Roll call.
Ms. McFadden?
Yes.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes.
Mr. Conway? Mr. Rossi? Mayor Getchir?
Yes.
Mr. Lay?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
yes,
5 yeas.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. 5 motions. 5.1 by Mayor Getchir, request the school committee facilities subcommittee meet with the city council facilities subcommittee to discuss the creation of a facilities department. Seconded by Mr. Bahu. Is there a registered speaker, Madam Clerk?
Mr. Hoey?
Connie, Mary just hooked me up with this, and I appreciate you giving me a couple of minutes on the mic. Facilities is one of your biggest issue as far as money being spent year after year after year. I seen the school committee do something special. If I'm wrong, correct me, Eric. You did get along with the city, and you spent some money on a school on Textile Avenue. I think a couple of $1 million. When I seen that happen, I said, wow, the schools are getting along with the city, and I think the city needs to get along with the schools. This issue here, my granddaughter goes to the Riley School, 4th grade. There's so many things wrong with the school, it would take me all day to put them on paper. Eric, the mayor, toured that with me a year or two ago and seen all the things wrong with just that school. And to me, I've been away for a while, but maintenance is a very big issue. Your newest school will probably be the Maury School out of the 29 schools you got. Right about now, it's probably got 30 years. Forgive me if I forget how old it is. But it's one of our newest schools. And when it was only about 10 years old, we had 3 boilers downstairs. I did a tour. 2 of them were down, broken. 1 was alive. And that's a lot of years ago. And if you don't take care of your buildings, and we have a lot of them, 29 in the school, and I don't know, Mayor, how many the city has, but I know they got several. Facilities just makes a lot of sense to me. It's nice to see all your faces. Jim, you look very young over there, buddy. You're looking good, I'll tell you that. And thanks for your time, but We need to get the schools and the city together. This is a big issue to me, and thank you for the time.
Thank you, Mr. Hoey. If there's no objections, because we don't have a vice chair here tonight, if I can speak from here, unless I can pick one of you to come up here. If there's no objections, I'll just speak from here. Thank you. This was a request from the entire city council body prior to last night's meeting. The week before, this was a request that came from the city council asking that both facilities committees actually meet to discuss the topic of facilities and joint facilities and trying to figure out where we're going. Last night at the city council meeting, there was a vote to try to do a special request to the state. That was not put on by any of the city councilors. So the city council pushed back and said we would like to have a discussion with the school committee before we took any actions on trying to do home rule petitions. I don't think that's the way any of us in government should take of an action right away until we start discussing logistics of what are we talking about? What does the organizational chart look like? Who's in charge of these things? What unions are involved? You know, how do we get from here to there? I think the premise of it is to try to have a more organized facilities department that actually performs better for the students, the staff, the teachers. 4 years ago, when I became a city councilor, that was the gripe by everybody, whether it was a teacher, whether it was a parent, whether it was a union. They were calling about facilities, roofs leaking, heating, cleanliness, you name it, we were getting the calls. I think those calls have been reduced a long way, but we just put $420 million into a high school and we're not done yet. And we just want to make sure that we have the proper organizational structure in place that supports the outcome and the learning outcome for the students and prolongs the cost in savings. So that really was the gist of why we put this together. We were trying to get a meeting together, and I'm hoping that this body would vote to do that. But after last night, I would not hold anything against this body for seeing a vote put on the city council to go to a home rule petition without even a conversation. I think that was disingenuous to even put that forward, but I want to assure you that was not done by any of the city councilors, in that at the same time, what was supposed to come was a draft on how to do it, what was the parameters, what would it look like. That was what the motion was a week and a half ago. But sometimes in government, we put things out there that maybe we should have waited a few minutes for the discussion. So I will open the floor to all of you to speak on it. I think it's imperative that you guys have a voice. Ms. McFadden.
I believe it's important for us to explore solutions to long-standing facilities challenges, and I understand why conversation continues to surface. While I am new to the school committee, I am very aware that the City Council has been discussing this issue for nearly 4 years. At last night's council meeting, the council reviewed a draft home rule petition that authorizes the consolidation of school committee functions with the city, including but not limited to financial, personnel, and maintenance functions. The scope of that language concerns me. Ahead of the council meeting, I had conversations with several city councilors to share those concerns. They listened, and as a result, the council agreed to pause discussion of the home rule petition for 4 weeks with the understanding that a joint meeting would be convened between the city council, school committee, city manager, school superintendent, and the union. I believe it's vital that the school committee be at the table and serve as an equal voice to any discussions related to facilities. Agreeing to meet and have these conversations does not mean I would ultimately vote to support consolidation or in favor of a specific proposal. It means I want to ensure that we are actively involved in shaping any discussions that impact our schools. I would much rather engage proactively than risk a scenario where a home rule petition moves forward without our input, potentially just diminishing the school committee's role altogether. The inclusion of unions in these discussions is critically important to me. I do not want anyone, particularly our school employees, to believe that these conversations appear to be predetermined or that they will lead to job loss. Transparency, collaboration, and respect for the workforce must be central for this process. So for those reasons, I intend to support the motion for the two facilities subcommittees to meet, not to predetermine an outcome, but to ensure open communication, shared understanding, and appropriate safeguards with students and school communities always at the center of the conversation.
Thank you, Ms. McFadden. Ms. Martin?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I really could just say ditto. I think that Ms. McFadden's comments are right on target. I think I'm certainly open to having conversations, going in with an open mind about what we may be able to accomplish. I agree that the way forward is for us to all be involved in this conversation. And I think that I appreciate, Mr. Mayor, your comments. I think that helps us put a different spin on this that I think is a very positive one, and bodes well that we'll be able to work together to find good solutions. Ultimately, we're all trying to get to the same thing. So I'll support this motion and look forward to actively participating in this process. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Martin. Mr. Bahu?
And, I intend on supporting this motion simply because of collaboration. However, a home rule petition basically denies us, the school committee, of our responsibility. And we were elected to go ahead and represent not only the school districts, not only the students and the teachers, but also the city. And when we sort of get bowled over, and that's what essentially this is, by a home rule petition, where you're making us look like we can't do our job, and ultimately, it sort of doesn't give us the comfort that the city council would like to work with us. So it's almost like, why should we work with them? I highly recommend, from myself to the city council, through you, Mr. Mayor, that you remove the home rule petition. 4 weeks from now, it shouldn't be taken up. And if it is submitted 4 weeks from now, then let the state go ahead and have that decision. And if we need to go ahead and revisit this a year or 2 years from now, then we can do that after the state comes up with their decision. I would much rather work collaboratively. We've had facilities subcommittees meet together once last year after we took the vote to deny this request. We met on this topic for about 25 minutes in June, and there was no other meeting after that. So I'm asking that the city council not submit that home rule petition simply because that we would like to go ahead and collaborate. And lastly, I want to thank Ms. McFadden and Ms. Martin for their responses, because we do love to do the work that we are voted in to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bahu. Mr. Lay?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ditto to all my colleagues. Mr. Mayor, I like your style of leadership, that you explained about this, what happened at City Council meeting last night. I really appreciate that. And I also appreciate the city councilors who also, the city councilors that they were willing to recognize that this is wrong, to bring it to a home rule petition and have a discussion on it. So I really appreciate the city councilors for doing that. So I agree with all my colleagues about we do have the responsibility as a school committee, and the home rule petition, going to the home rule petition without consulting with the school committee beforehand I think is in a way insulting the school committee. I agree with Mr. Bahu too, that we should not send this to state for the home rule petition. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. I do formally want to apologize for the city council, on behalf of the city council, because as everyone who watched the meeting last night witnessed, that was not the intent of any of the city councilors, as it did pass 11-0 to move it forward. And I understand what you're saying, Mr. Bahu, and I certainly will bring that back. I'm hoping that a facilities subcommittee meeting will be made prior to that, and we can start the discussion. I don't think that this is something that's going to be solved in a month. I know Mr. Superintendent has had discussions with the city manager on it, and what's come of that, I have no idea. We haven't seen any, like I said, outline, organizational charts, or anything, and I think it was really insulting to the school committee what happened last night, and I think the council stepped up and said they weren't happy about it either. So I do respect what you said, school committee member Lay. Roll call.
Ms. McFadden?
Yes.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes.
Mr. Conway? Mr. Rossi? Mayor Getchia?
Yes,
Mr. Lay?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
5 yeas.
thank you. 5.2, motion by member Del Rossi, request the superintendent work with the Department of Finance to create a step-by-step guide for school receiving financial rewards. Do we want to hold off on these two motions until the motion by Mr. Bahu, seconded by Ms. McFadden, to hold off on 5.2 and 5.3 until Ms. Del Rossi is present next week? Roll call.
Ms. McFadden?
Yes.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes.
Mr. Conway? Mr. Rossi? Mayor Getchia?
Yes,
Mr. Lay?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
5 yeas.
thank you. 5.4, motion by Mr. Bahu, have the superintendent or his designee provide a report on Friday attendance of every school in our district for each month of 2024, 2025, and so far in 25-26 school year. Seconded by Ms. McFadden. Mr. Bahu.
Sure. This motion is intended to inform the school district and ourselves how many students attend schools on Fridays. I know that I have been at subcommittee meetings in recent years and understand that Fridays are not as well attended as Monday through Thursday. So I would love to see a report so that we can begin to identify if there's ways that we can go ahead and boost our attendance. We know when students are in attendance, their grades are higher, their socialism is better, that they begin to grow educationally within our system. So if we could just go ahead and have that report, I think it would be beneficial for all of us to understand exactly the direction that we can go on attendance on Fridays.
Thank you, Mr. Bahu. Roll call.
Ms. McFadden?
Yes.
Mr. Bahu? Mr. Conway? Mr. Rossi? Mayor Getchia?
Yes,
Mr. Lay?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
5 yeas.
thank you. 6, report of the superintendent. 6.1, strategic plan update. Mr. Superintendent.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We've previously demonstrated our pride in what we think is a really terrific and very ambitious strategic plan. We also want to assure you that we're attending to the initiatives and the goals in there with great dedication, and we want to give you updates from time to time. So this is one of those moments to give you an update. I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Crocker, who prepared tonight's update for you.
Thank you, Superintendent Skinner. In your packet, you'll see a slide deck that outlines each of the 11 initiatives that are either in launch, pilot, or design phase this year. It is the most ambitious year of the kickoff of the strategic plan. And I'm pleased to report that at this time, you'll see a little dashboard on the third slide that indicates that all of the current initiatives are on track. So this year, we're embarking on the most initiatives under the pillar of rigor and relevance in every classroom. And you'll note that that included the major lift around implementation of new literacy curriculum from kindergarten through grade 10, and all of the professional learning, coaching, lesson planning, internalization, and unit work that went into getting that new curriculum implemented with integrity across all of our schools. And so all of the deliverables and action steps that were included are on track so far in Q2, which ended just a couple of weeks ago. And then you'll see an update on 3.1, which comes out of our Human Resources and Operations Office around the design and implementation of a talent pipeline. And 4.1, which includes the refinement and implementation of standard operating procedures. In subsequent meetings, each one of the executive cabinet members, who is the lead, who is responsible for each of these launch, pilot, and design initiatives this year, will be providing you a detailed update. In fact, last meeting, Dr. Pinto kicked us off with that 4.1 around the standard operating procedures. But at this time, we have some key metrics coming up, and those are reported on each of the individual slides for you. And so if you scroll through, you'll be able to see what the key accomplishments are, any adjustments to the timelines that we've made as a result of things moving more quickly than expected, shifting in a slightly different direction than expected, what data has been collected so far relative to the KPIs for that indicator, and what data is forthcoming relative to the KPIs for that indicator. I'd be happy to take any specific questions that you have about any of the initiatives or refer them to my fellow executive cabinet members who are those leads for that particular goal area.
Any questions? Seeing none, we'll move on to 6.2. Response on motion by Mr. Bahu regarding breakfast in schools. Mr. Bahu?
Firstly, thank you for that report, that strategic plan report. I can tell things are moving in the right direction, and I'm very happy with everything that you've done, and looking forward to all the progression that we keep on having. Thank you for this report. As far as breakfasts served, it looks like, you know, it's a great report. We have almost 7,000 breakfasts served per day within our school district. And then there's the way that we serve breakfast. A lot of the times, generally, people come into the schools and they sort of serve themselves as they're entering. I was luckily principal for a day at the STEM school and saw that actually in real time. They were grabbing apples, they were grabbing breakfast bars, they were grabbing wrap sandwiches. It was wonderful. Not only that, but we also had a benefit of having Sherry Laffey of SLS Studios there teaching the students, the older students, on the benefits of eating properly, eating apples and eating bananas, and how it helps their senses, and how it helps their energy, and how it gives them, you know, the desire to really focus because of just eating correctly. So thank you for this. I was looking at page 2, and you know, and in the study, my intent of this motion, in the study, it basically says if students eat breakfast before they start going to classes, it helps them, just as Ms. Laffey was sharing, it helps them focus more. It gives them more energy. It helps them pay more attention in the classroom. It helps them go ahead and get through the school day in a way where they're not thinking about how hungry they are, but they're thinking about the academics and, you know, what they're learning for the day. And also, I was reading a state report that states that if we have schools that reach 80% of breakfast served per school in the student body, then ultimately there is more funding. And the funding can be to the tune of as much as $25,000 per school per year. We essentially have 27 schools. 6 of those schools, 5 of those schools are over 80%. And some of those schools are at 70%, 61%, 60%, 59%. They're right there, they're on the cutting edge. So not only would this be beneficial to students to help concentrate and begin to go ahead and work on their, you know, their academics in the school per day, but also it would be beneficial to the school district if we could go ahead and begin, and they say the school districts that feed the students most are generally when we bring the food after the bell rings into the classroom. So I'm not sure if that's possible, that we can go ahead and do that. And I know that that creates, what should I say, undesirable pests coming through the building. However, I know that they do, share containers that are sealed, and we can go ahead and have the students eat, and then we could seal the container up for the next day. So there is funding available for us to have those containers, delivered to the school, and ultimately, it would help boost our attention span in the classroom. So I thank you for this report. We are so close on so many of the schools at 67, 70% is at the McAvenue, 67 at the McAuliffe, 61 at the Moody. I mean, we are on the cutting edge of feeding these students. We have the food, we're throwing it away. We're actually throwing the food away that they don't take. So why don't we try to go ahead and get these students to eat more and serve in the classroom after the bell, which realistically proved to be most effective. So thank you for this report. I'm grateful for the work that you did for it, and I look forward to seeing more growth within students eating at school.
Thank you, Mr. Bahu. Ms. McFadden?
Not exactly related to breakfast, but food related. I know that at Pawtuckaville Memorial, and I don't know if it's at the other schools, but they have a fresh fruit and veggie program. So on Wednesdays and Fridays, my kids get to try different fruits and veggies. So this week is butternut squash and pineapple. But the other day, my 8-year-old asked me to buy a cantaloupe because he tried one during the fruit and veggie program. So there's a lot of ways that food is being incorporated into our classrooms, which is great.
Thank you, Ms. McFadden. 6.3, finance updates. Mr. Superintendent.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. School committee members, you have a finance update in your packet, and we have in our presence Dr. Pinto, who can provide you with any answers to any questions you might have.
Seeing no questions, we'll move on. 6.4, FY26 Quarter 2 Summary Report. We can do 6.5, Quarterly Grant Update, Second Quarter, July 1st to December 31st, 2025, FY26 Quarter 2 Summary, and 6.6, Reports on Motions all at once, and that would be a motion by Mr. Bahu to do that, seconded by Mr. Lay. Either Mr. Superintendent?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So with regard to 6.4, the summary report, and 6.5, the quarterly grants update, a lot of that is, summary figures and so forth. If there are questions, we'll take them. I do want to point your attention to the report on motions, which is 6.6. We've, in recent years, begun a tradition of sharing this with committee members for transparency's sake. When we respond to your motions, we don't then remove the motions unless you agree that they have been completed satisfactorily. So, for example, Mr. Bahu thanked us just a moment ago for a motion response. We might tomorrow in the office decide that that one is completed. If we decide that, we record it as such so that Mr. Bahu will have another opportunity to notice that and determine if it really was completed to his satisfaction or if he's looking for more information. At any rate, the report is in your packet. If you care to comment, you're welcome to. Otherwise, we'll take it that what is marked as completed has been completed to your satisfaction. Thank you.
Ms. Martin?
Thank you very much. And thank you very much for including this report, Mr. Superintendent. I appreciate it. The beginning of the session is always a good time to kind of do some cleanup and kind of pare this down. I have some concerns, mainly because it's just, I know I had a motion in, I want to say it was in November, regarding information. I had made a request for the administration to provide a report on how we were working with parents to provide information, instruction on chatbots and kind of our overall social media literacy, and so I know that that's a motion that I had made that doesn't appear anywhere. At least I didn't see it, and I'm just concerned. I mean, so many have fallen off this list, so I'm just a little concerned that perhaps it was perhaps overzealous and maybe removing some things. But I know I've never gotten a report on that one specifically. And I don't know if any of my other colleagues may have a similar experience if they've had an opportunity to really go through it.
Thank you, Ms. Martin. Ms. Martin, I do recall that motion. It is in the report. It's the last one on page 4.
Okay.
And you'll notice that there's an expected date for the response at the next meeting that we have.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms.
I
Martin.
apologize for my mistake, and I'm sorry. I must have gone through it too quickly.
All set, Ms. Martin?
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Thank you. Mr.
I
Bahu?
apologize.
Sure, and I'd just like to go back to 6.4 for a second, if I could, through you, Mr. Mayor, to Mr. Pinto. And Mr. Pinto, it looked like on 6.4, the non-salary expenses, the quarterly report, the regular education transportation, it looks like it's over budget by like $247,000. Is there, does this cover the year? And my guess is it doesn't. Or is this, essentially for the first half of the year that transportation has increased by that amount? And it looks like later in this meeting, we're going to have to approve a transportation transfer. So any thoughts on that particular line item?
Yes, Mr. Bahu, thank you. So you'll note that in one of the columns, we do note what's been encumbered. So we do attempt to, so we know these transportation costs for the year at the outset. They've been budgeted for, and so we allocate to make sure that the funds are there to provide. These may be additional transportation costs that have been incurred since then over and above transportation.
Sure, so that's over and above, and ultimately it's through the half year, so it doesn't necessarily mean it's to the end of the year, because we still have another 5 months of transportation that we need to provide.
That's correct.
Okay, great, thank you. And then secondly, I have one other question about the grants. You have grants earmarked, you have a page that shows what percentage of grants we've used, and so on. And the following page, you begin to initiate what those grants are for. If you could add one more column on the page where you're sharing the amount that has been used to when that expires, because I know that I could go ahead and take this page and then go to this page and sort of backfill and sort of take a look at what's been spent and encumbered and all of that. But it would be nice if it was just all on one page so that we can identify that a grant isn't set to expire. And begin to just, have a more clear picture of exactly the amounts that we've spent. And then, of course, that this added page of what the grant's for is perfect. It's great to have. But I'm, just looking to see if you could add that one extra column.
Yes, Mr. Bahu, I could certainly. It was made this size for ease of readability, so for digestion. We actually have the spreadsheet actually does cover all of the columns on one page.
Sure, I'm sure
We
it
can make
does,
adjustments, yep.
That'd be great. I'd really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Bahu. Member Lay?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Are we going back to 6.6? Okay. On 6 points through you, Superintendent, 6.6, page 5 on my I have one motion there on that page. I know we sent it to the subcommittee, and we did have the subcommittee, and in a way, yeah, it was completed because we sent it to the subcommittee, but can we leave it as ongoing right now, just because of, I think, I don't feel that it's in a way complete because we haven't gone through the process. So for now, would that be okay just to leave it there instead of
Certainly.
taking it off? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lay.
Thank you.
Motion to accept the reports of the superintendent 6.1 through 6.6 as reports of progress by Member Bahu, seconded by Member McFadden. Roll call.
I just
Ms.
have one-
McFadden?
Oh,
I have
I'm sorry.
One more question about the motions, I'm sorry.
Bahu.
I'd like to keep M171 ongoing, which is about the chronic absenteeism. There may be another subcommittee that we may need to have in reference to summer school and such like that. So if we could keep M171 as ongoing, as well as M149, financial literacy curriculum. I'm sure we'll be having a curriculum subcommittee soon, and I'm trying to figure out, you know, what we've done. I know we've discussed financial literacy, but I'd love to know what's been implemented, so that we can begin to understand the growth that our students are receiving on this and how we're implementing it. So if we could have M171 and M149 as ongoing, I'd be extremely grateful.
We're happy to grant that, Mr. Bahu. It does help, I will say this, that it does help if the motions are ongoing. I stay on the assistant superintendents to do the extra work that's required to complete them. But if they remain as ongoing without a specific task, they languish, and I like to be honored as school committee. This is one duty I take very seriously, to get the information that the committee has requested. That's what a motion is, right? It's a request for information. So we leave them as ongoing, but maybe suggesting let's work together to close them out. And one way to do that is for you to tell us specifically what additional information you want, so we can get at that information to you.
Sure, the chronic absenteeism, you know, I did put in a motion about Fridays today, you know, what that looks like, if that affects the chronic absenteeism, as well as what we're doing for summer school and having students attend, and what our summer school looks like, so that we can move them forward. So that was the one about the chronic absenteeism. And as far as financial literacy, we did have a discussion in a subcommittee. However, I'm not sure what was implemented. I don't know that anything was implemented. I'm sure Dr. Foxroy implemented some type of framework to go ahead and develop financial literacy, but it would be nice to see or hear what has been done to satisfy that. That was a year ago, and it says it was, you know, completed, but realistically, I'm not sure what the result is.
Very helpful.
Those are the two items that are.
Very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Roll call.
Ms. McFadden?
Yes.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes.
Mr. Conway? Mr. Rossi? Mayor Gittier?
Yes.
Mr. Lay?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
5 yeas.
Thank you. 6.7, home education. Motion to approve home education by Ms. Martin, seconded by Mr. Lay. Any questions? Seeing none, roll call.
Ms. McFadden?
Yes.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes.
Mr. Conway? Ms. Del Rossi? Mayor Gittier?
Yes.
Mr. Lay?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
5 yeas.
Thank you. 7, new business. 7.1, approve to accept and expend allocated FY 2026 awards. Motion to approve and accept and expend the allocated FY 26 awards by Ms. McFadden, seconded by Mr. Bahu. Any questions? Roll call.
Ms. McFadden?
Yes.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes.
Mr. Conway? Mr. Rossi? Mayor Gittier?
Yes.
Mr. Lay? Ms. Martin?
Yes.
5 yeas.
Thank you. 7.2, budget modification request. Motion to approve the budget modification of $480,000 awarded by, first by Mr. Lay, seconded by Ms. McFadden. Any questions? Roll call.
Ms. McFadden?
Yes.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes.
Mr. Conway? Mr. Rossi? Mayor Gittier?
Yes.
Mr. Lay?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
5 yeas.
Thank you. 8, conventions and conference request. 8.1, overnight request, MASC Annual Conference. Motion to approve the convention/conference request by Mr. Lay, seconded by Ms. McFadden. Any questions? Roll call.
Ms. McFadden?
Yes.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes.
Mr. Conway? Ms. Del Rossi? Mayor Getchia?
Yes.
Mr. Lay?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
5 yeas.
Anybody have any announcements? Mr. Superintendent.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. If I may give you 2 announcements. One is that we had schools open yesterday during the polling, and it was very successful by my own, judgment. I toured the schools, and voters were being able to exercise their right, and students were learning in classrooms, and neither one disturbed the other. I think it was very successful. And the reason I'm bringing it up is I want to thank the school committee for your support in having us do that. Since the school committee acceded to our wishes to work with the city government, the city manager and the city office to make that happen, we had 2 consecutive snow days last week, right, the Monday and the Tuesday. And if we were missing out yesterday and March 3rd as well, it would be not only put us back later into the summer, but it also just disturbs and disrupts the flow of the education process in classrooms. So again, just thank you to the school committee for allowing us to work with the city on that. I do believe it was very successful. The second announcement is a request for the school committee to decide on the next meeting. So there's something of a tradition of the school committee deciding to continue or not continue to have a meeting on school vacation week. We discussed this previously, and the committee asked that we leave it on the calendar and we decide at the time. If there's no additional recommendations from the school committee, I would recommend that we not have a school committee meeting on the night of February 18th. Some of the cabinet members, including yours truly, would appreciate taking some time that week to visit family and so on. So, but the question is on the floor for the committee: do you want to have the February 18th meeting or no?
Ms. McFadden?
So I'm new to this, but my suggestion would be moving forward that we make a motion or approve the calendar without having it on vacation weeks. That way, if you all want to plan to do something for February vacation, April vacation, you're able to do so and not have to pay, huge plane ticket prices if you plan on going place warm. I'll vote in favor of the motion to cancel, but I would suggest moving forward, we have a calendar adjusted accordingly.
Motion by Ms. McFadden to cancel the February 18th school committee, second by Mr. Bahu. Roll call.
Ms. McFadden?
Yes.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes.
Mr. Conway? Mr. Del Rossi? Mayor Getchia?
Yes.
Mr. Lay?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
5 yeas.
Seeing no more announcements, motion to adjourn by Ms. Martin, seconded by Mr. Lay. Thank you.